Almost an hour into the session, we're dealt pocket kings under the gun +2. I raised to 300. The neighbor on our left 3-bets to 1100. We raised some early position 9-handed, and immediate 3-bet isn't something our opponent would have done without a strong hand very often, because we expect the middle position player to have mostly hands in the very top left corner range charts, and we're pretty deep. We can flat out with kings a good chunk of the time. But with the 7-deuce game being onto the table, a lot of 3-bets are also done with the worst hand in poker. I'm going to 4-bet for value at a slightly higher frequency, especially from out of position. I 4-bet to 3800. The opponent doesn't muck his cards right away like I anticipated if he was 3-betting us light. He's taken his time to contemplate how to proceed. If he flats, this could be uncomfortable playing a huge pot out of position, but I'd be okay with it. The stack to pot ratio wouldn't be too large. When that's the case, it's pretty easy to navigate if the board comes out with low cards. The middle position player folds. We win 1400 without much trouble. It isn't a huge win, but seeing chips come our direction is always a positive outcome that helps us settle the nerves. Next, we're dealt ace-jack offsuit in the small blind. The hijack raises to 300. This is the same opponent who we bricked our draw against when we had 9-8 of clubs. I call for 200 more. We're heads up out of position. The flop comes king 10-6 rainbow. We've gotten over with a Broadway draw. We're never going to lead on this flop. I check to the pre-flop aggressor. 2 Broadway cards out there is better for his range than it is for ours. He leans into the range advantage, making a half pot bet of 400. We're not going to be check raising at a high frequency. Our hand does okay when we put it into the call bin. We're going to see at least one more card. I call with hopes of drilling the gutter. The turn is the 9 of clubs, which is much better for us in general. We'll have plenty of straight draw combos that improved, and we can lead on this turn occasionally. Instead, I check. The 9 of clubs is scary for the hijack. He checks back. I like seeing that. He probably has one pair or maybe no pair like us. The river is the 5 of clubs. We brick our draw, but the backdoor flush gets there. We're holding the ace of clubs, and we'll have a lot of flushes and straights that we'd play this way. We have removal of all sorts of strong hands. The opponent likely won't have better than one pair often. It's time to turn our hand into a bluff. I make an overbet at 2,000 to represent straights and flushes. Hands as strong as ace-king are supposed to fold the majority of the time to our sizing. The hijack can't get away though. He calls. We have to show that we got caught trying to bust a move. We reveal our ace high. It's no good. The hijack has king 8 of hearts. I told you earlier that he likes to check for pot control with top pair on the turn. It pays off for him in this instance. As a side note, king 8 is actually a much better hand to call our river bet with than ace king because king 8 has removal of straight combos that we're representing. I like how we played the hand, but it doesn't work out for us. We're down over 5,000 at the moment. There's a dealer change before we pick up king-jack offsuit in a bomb pot. All 9 players at the table put in $300 each, and we go straight to a flop. We're in middle position. The flop comes king-queen 9 with 2 spades. We've got top pair and a straight draw. When we have 8 opponents with uncapped ranges, top pair isn't something that we're going to get too excited about, but with a lot of money in the middle and removal to the straight, we need to bet to give ourselves a chance to win without allowing everyone to see a free card and potentially improve to beat us. I bet 1,000. The action gets to the hijack. He has a devious look on his face as he considers his options. He's not going to call our bet. He raises to 3,500. Already, this puts us in a tough spot because we could be drawing near dead if this is a legitimate raise done with a value hand. The small blind makes things more interesting by coming in out of nowhere and cold calling the raise. There's a good chance the small blind has us beat, but if he had a straight, he might have re-raised for protection from the flush draw. I don't think that he has the nuts, particularly because we have removal for it. Our hand is kind of an interesting one to now turn into a bluff to represent either a straight, set, or 2 pair. It's just too dangerous though. I'm trying to make fewer unnecessary plays that are costly when they don't work out. I fold, knowing one or both players could have us beat. Even when king-jack is ahead, we have to worry about more spades coming out and playing from out of position. It's not worth it. We make things simpler and avoid having to make potentially difficult decisions on future streets. The turn is the 4 of clubs, which is a complete blank. I'm happy it's not a 10. The small blind checks. Whether the hijack has something that he can bet for value or only has a semi-bluff of some sort, he can apply a lot of pressure knowing the small blind almost definitely doesn't have the nuts after he cold called the raise rather than re-raise himself. The hijack puts in a massive overbet jam for 28,000. It's 2.5 times the size of the pot. Small blind folds. The hijack shows 7 deuce of spades for the semi-bluff. He wins the 5 figures in the middle, and on top of that, everyone at the table has to give him $300. This isn't the start that I envisioned. I'm down 9,000, but I'm okay with my decision so far. After adding on, we're dealt pocket nines under the gun +1. Under the gun raises to 300. He's one of the weaker players to the table, even though everyone's pretty decent. We can split between calling or 3-betting. I'd like to isolate. I 3-bet to 900 in order to either win or play a larger pot in position against the opponent. Under the gun calls, we're heads up, seeing a flop. I haven't made a set in several high stakes sessions. This would be a good time to drill one. The flop comes ace-6-3 with 2 hearts. We don't improve. Under the gun checks. Even though we don't have a great hand at the moment, we're going to bet a decent percentage of the time with nines because there are a few good possible outcomes. I make a small bet of 700. We'll have plenty of top pair combos after 3-betting pre-flop, so if the opponent has hands like jacks or tens, especially with no heart, he'll often be happy to let those go. Also, if the opponent folds unpaired combos containing 2 overs, that's a good result for us as well. Under the gun calls, which is a bit worrisome. Now we have to hope that he has a flush draw or some worse pair. The turn is the deuce of spades. It's mostly a blank except 5-4 gets there. Under the gun checks. We want to get to showdown with our nines at this point. I check back to see the river. The dealer puts out the 3 of clubs pairing the board. It's unclear whether we're best or not. Under the gun is going to at least represent a hand stronger than ours with a bet of 2,000. He wouldn't do this with a hand like queens, jacks, or tens. He's saying that he has at least an ace. He could also be turning missed flush draws into a bluff like king jack, queen 10, jack 10, 10-9 of hearts. I call. There's no bluff this time. If the opponent has ace-10 of clubs like he was representing, I lose a couple thousand on the end. We're supposed to call about half the time with black 9 since we unblock all the combos that the opponent is supposed to bluff with. Still, it's another somewhat frustrating one that goes the other way. I haven't been able to string wins together. I know things have to turn around, but in the meantime, not making big hands and not being able to bet for value is getting a bit painful. The table agrees to play a round of the stand-up game when we pick up pocket queens in the cutoff. This is the situation that we dream about. Under the gun +1 raises to 300. The opponent is Ralph Wong. He's been a high-stakes cash game crusher for a long time. He also helps organize the game. I played with him quite a bit. I 3-bet to 1100. When we're playing the stand-up game, I tend to use larger sizings whether I've got a big hand like right now or when I'm bluffing. Winning any pot is good for us so that we can avoid having to pay each player at the table $300. Larger bet sizes disincentivizes opponents from getting involved or punishes them when they do and we show up at the top of our range. Small blind wants his seat back. He cold 4-bets to 3,300. There's no way we're folding when everyone has extra motivation to play aggressively. Things heat up even more when the action's back on under the gun +1. He's not folding either. He 5-bets to 7,000. We've got the 3rd best hand in poker with 17,000 in front of us, facing an absurd amount of aggression. This isn't a fist pump rip. One or both opponents could have us beat. The small blind is the same player who ripped it for 28,000 with 7 deuce of spades earlier in the bomb pot. He's capable of 4-betting light when he needs to. I'm giving a lot more credit to this 5-bet, but queens is just too good to lay down for less than 200 big blinds when the stand-up game's on. We rip it for 17,000 total. Our decision's been made. What happens next is out of our hands. The small blind's 4-bet was all bark and no bite. He folds. Ralph indicates that he has a strong hand, but he doesn't snap call, so I'm feeling much more confident that we're either ahead or flipping against ace-king. We get a count of my chips to confirm that it's 17,000 total. Ralph makes the call. We're going to be playing an all-in pot of almost $40,000.
What, twice?
It's a few.
Twice.
We're running it 2 times against ace-king offsuit. The first run out will determine which one of us gets to win the seat back for the stand-up game, so we really want to at least win that one, especially because then we get to free roll the second run out. My heart's racing as we're about to play a pot bigger than my bankroll when I first moved out to Vegas. The flop comes 10-4-3 with 2 clubs. The opponent has some backdoor draws, but this is a good one for us considering we didn't improve. It's a great start to help us get our seat back and potentially scoop a huge all-in. If I knew this flop was coming, I'd have just run it once. The turn is the ace of spades, completely turning everything around with the flip of a card. We're down to 2 outs if we want to win the first half of the pot and avoid losing the stand-up game. The river is the 9 of diamonds, ending the first run out, my hopes of scooping the pot, and my hopes of getting out of the stand-up game. This was a brutal turn card that completely wrecks me. The second flop comes 9-6-3 with 2 spades. Again, it starts out safe, but we have to fade 2 overs with 2 more cards to come. The turn is the 6 of clubs pairing the board. I'm feeling a lot better now that we have a solid shot at winning at least half the pot, but I'm not taking my chips back just yet. The river is the 8 of clubs. We get to breathe again, winning on the second run out. Thankfully, Ralph chose to run it twice. If we just ran it once, it would have been much more devastating. Since a small blind cold 4-bet, Ralph and I chopped his money and win almost $2,000 each. The only difference is Ralph wins a seat back and I'm still standing, in need of winning a pot, or else I have to pay out $2,400 to the table.